he won't let that, he'll just fight it. He's in pain. He doesn't take the medication they gave him because he's just not going to be that guy. He's just not. He's tougher than that, But there's times when he's really in a lot of pain and, he, does what he needs to do. But,
do they give him therapy?
No. Nope. But the psychiatrist was awesome. It was just awesome. They connected, but she's left. So now he's without somebody again. Oh. And I think it's done that whole thing about, who do I go, what do I do? I mean, this was such a connection and he was so happy about. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. I wish he would go see somebody else. And my daughter and I have talked about this, and she believes it too, that he really needs to talk to somebody. He really needs to connect with somebody that knows, that he feels comfortable talking with.
Do you think, would you describe what he has as PTSD?
He does have PTSD. Yes, he was diagnosed with that. Yes, PTSD. Yep. And then, of course, his injuries that he got. Yeah, it's there.
How old is he?
27.
Oh, so young.
He was born in 19. I know what year they're born. I just can't remember. He was born in 1989.
He's still very young.
Yeah, he is very young. He is very young. He got a dog last year. Best thing, another great thing to happen to him. That companionship, that dog is, I don't know if anything ever happens to that dog. I don't know. Our dog passed away, and Tony was very attached to that dog, and we had to put him to sleep a couple months ago, and it really threw Tony for a loop. But Tony can't be in crowds, and that's his PTSD. Can't be in crowds, can't have a bunch of people around him. Doesn't do well with that kind of stuff at all. Loud stuff. Can't be around loud stuff,
How long was he in Afghanistan?
6 months.
Okay. Wow.
I think.
And he wasn't deployed again?
No.
Because that's when he was injured?
Of course. He wasn't going back over there.
Are there veterans nearby?
He's just not into that. He just is not comfortable with that. Mm-hmm. He's not comfortable talking to people. My best friend here has a husband who was a Marine. But, they're a different breed. They really, really are. They're kind of funny. They're so tough.
The Marines? Oh, yes.
They're so tough. And, you're not going to break them. And that was kind of how Tony is, and he wasn't like that. But they've made him like that, and I'm okay with that. I love that he went into the Marine Corps. I love that he's a Marine. It was the best thing that ever happened to Tony. The discipline that they get, even the military school, that was, he just needed structure. He needed discipline. That was his whole thing, and he wasn't getting it in the public schools, fell through the cracks, and, I'm not going to bother with this. My youngest son is very smart and everything just comes easy to him. So he didn't have any problems in school. But you get the ones that have the problems and that, not that everybody who joins the Marine Corps has problems. But I thought he would be a Marine in the Corps. And he is a Marine. Jeez.
They're always a Marine.
Yeah, they're always a Marine, yeah. But I thought he would stay in. But I think after Afghanistan, he said, not doing this. So if I could wish anything for the Marines, for the Army, for the Navy, for the Coast Guard, for everybody that is in the military, they need to be up here. Mm-hmm. And we need to take care of them. Mm-hmm. Whether they need it or not, they're special. They have fought for me. They let me walk around out there every day. Why do we have such trouble with that? Why does this country have such trouble with that? I don't understand. Why did it take so long for somebody to see him? Why, he's in the Veterans Day Parade every year. He drives his dad's little car in his uniform. I mean, he's very, very proud to be a Marine. Extremely proud. He's a good boy. He's just a little rougher around the edges than when I let him go. But
How long has he been home?
well, 2012. So,
Okay.
And he came home and lived. He's now got an apartment of his own and lives
Right.
on his own. I think maybe rent in Bend is really high. He might be moving back home and trying to save some money to buy a house. But he has a girlfriend. I worry about that, you know. I want him to make sure not to jump into something. He was married in the Marine Corps for 6 months. Yeah, I could have told him that was going to happen, but you got to let them do what they got to do, and you got to be there to support them when they fall. And I was, and we
That's
were.
right.
Yeah.
And you are.
His dad and I are very, supportive of our children. They're the most important things in our lives. But so I'm waiting for my husband to finish his book. I'm very excited about that.
He's writing a book. Tell me about
He is
that
writing
book.
a book. I'm not sure how. I can't remember the name of it right now. It's called The Challenge, and it's 125 letters, and he's got all the letters that they wrote back and forth when he was in the military school. And he talks about everything that happened and the emotions that we went through and what happened with our lives at the military school. He doesn't get too much. I haven't read it. I want to wait till it's finished. He also has a lot of trouble with remembering timeline events. Isn't that terrible? I wish I would have carried a recorder around with me my whole life, because there's so many things that you miss. So it's at the publishers right now. And I'll take your card, and when it gets done, I'll get you one, because I want everybody to read it, because it'll be really cool.
What does your son think about this?
Oh, he's very excited about it. Yeah, he's very excited about it. Yeah, it's just his letters were every day. Jim wrote him every single day he was in that Youth Challenge school. And then he goes on to talk about, the Marine Corps, but I don't think a lot of it goes into the Marine Corps, because we kind of lost Tony at that point, because which is fine, because that's what he had to focus on. And he had a girlfriend back here, and and he had the wife then that he married down there, and I think that's why things kind of fell apart with that, because she wanted to be a wife, and he didn't have time for that. He had to worry about learning to fight in the war, about learning to be a soldier, and it was like, you got to learn to take care of yourself, girl. You're going to be married to me, because right now this is my focus is protecting my country, and that's what's the most important thing for me right now.
If you were to give advice to a mother new to all this, whose son or daughter has signed up for the military and maybe has been deployed, what kind of advice would you give?
It depends, because there's so many different things. Because my youngest son wanted to be in the military when he graduated from high school. He was going to do ROTC in college, full ride scholarship, everything. Would be an officer because of how he was. Very smart kid, not that Tony wasn't smart, but that's kind of the path that Tony or Yano wanted to go on, was to be an officer but he got to college on his full ride scholarship, and he went to Pacific Lutheran up in Tacoma. And they said, have you ever thought about playing football? And he goes, because he played football in high school. And he said, no, I really didn't want to go to college for that, but why? Well, we think maybe you'd like to try it, see what it's like. So long story short, he kind of didn't like the ROTC. It was depressing. It was scary. And he's got this huge heart. And football was run by a very Christian-like coach. And so he liked that. And so he joined the football team and dropped ROTC. I did have a girl at work that her son signed up, and she said, "What do you think?" And I said, I think all kids should go to that military school. I really do, because I think we're failing our children so badly. They're just so different. Kids are so different, and I see that coming into work. You get these younger kids that get out of school and they want to be the president of the bank. When they walk in the door. No, that's not how it works. You have to work. You have to work. And kids have a hard time working. You know, they have a hard time working. I know people that they don't think they should have somebody telling them what to do. Really? That's not how it works. Do you think I love and have loved every boss I've had that tells me what to do? Mm-mm. But I know that's the game you have to play. That's the game you have to play in life, and that's a sentence that we use on our kids every day of their life. Play the game. That's all it takes. You don't have to love it. You don't have to live by it. Play it. And you'll see what happens. Rewards happen. So anyway, getting back to, it would depend on where they, what's going on with them. What's going on with them? Because if you don't have a kid who's strong or could be strong, I think as a rule, the military is kind of scary. Unless you've got an officer or officer material. And not that that's a good thing that they get treated differently, but they do. You know, it's tough.
It's tough.
It is tough.
It's tough to know what to say.
Yeah. It was a good thing for me. It was a good thing for us. It was a good thing for Tony. It was great. I wouldn't take it back for anything because I love the respect that they taught. And Tony had respect anyway, but I mean, I love to hear him talk to strangers. Like if he was sitting here right now, it would be, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You know, just the respect about you listen, you don't talk over, you don't, you know, they're just good breed.